So now we have the second match. We have Sky going up against Pidove. Pidove is using Oracle Think Tank going up against Sky's Kagero. Looks like we're just about ready to start, and Sky is going first. Rides into a lava flow on the first turn. Doesn't say anything about what build of Kagero he's using because lava flow is kind of for everything. Meanwhile, Pidove goes into a perfect guard that won't even hit without a trigger, and there's no trigger. Now we see Twilight Arrow. Again, it doesn't say anything about what kind of deck Sky is using. And a critical trigger. We still have no idea what Sky what Sky is using. We're gonna have to wait until grade 3. Or until some damage checks. If Sky wanted, he could no pass this. But he decides to no guard instead. Damage check gives a... Oh. Is this a Blade Master build? Yes, it is. Pidove no guards again, gets a draw trigger. So this match is actually pretty interesting. Oracle Think Tank can theoretically make up for anything that's lost in terms of field just by how much they draw in hand. But Kagero are so good at retiring that they can actually force Oracle Think Tank to use up their hand just to have field. Because Oracle Think Tank can't Superior Call. One of the few United Sanctuary decks that just don't have the ability to Superior Call. Because when you look at it, most United Sanctuary does that. Royal Paladin, Shadow Paladin, Gold Paladin, Angel Feather, Genesis. Uh, yeah. Oracle Think Tank is the only one that doesn't actually Superior Call things. First Stride is Tamadu. Uses the skill because the Vanguard is Coco to get back the Susanoo, drop for it. Calls a Tom column that's probably gonna die immediately because Kagero. Sky isn't guarding, and now we get to see how many crits this runs. Because we already just saw one, and it was a Nikkei. It's extremely, extremely possible that this is a 12 build Oracle Think Tank deck. And if that is the case, Sky has to be very, very wary of that. Lets himself go to 4 damage already. Really risky stuff. If I was Sky right here, I would stride into Mustafa. Use Mustafa's skill to kill Tom, just so that's not an issue for later. And no, he goes into Muhammad. Blade Master skill kills Tom anyway. I was just saying with Mustafa, he could have counterblast one, killed another unit, probably that Gemini, just to make sure that entire column is gone so that it doesn't become a thing later. And then he could have even put Sadik into the soul and made him kill Lulu, and he would have lost his entire field on that turn. Using Berserk Dragon, he does have access to the skill, but to be perfectly honest, he really shouldn't use it. Well, never mind, he has Anarchy on the field. Nope, he's not using the skill. I mean, if he uses Atniki to renege the damage on the to renege the counterblast used for Berserk Dragon. It would be kind of a, I don't want to say waste, but it's hard not to. So first attack is guarded. Second attack is going to be 36. Pidove isn't guarding it. Draw trigger Cruel Dragon and grade 1. And now we get to see another retire. I'd go straight for Gemini. So he's using Counterblast 1 to kill the final unit on the field, attacking for 21. And it only needs a 10k shield because of the critical trigger. By the way, I'm like 100% certain that this is a 12 crit Oracle Think Tank deck. Counterblast 2, flip a Takamikazuchi to get Takamikazuchi's skill from the top 4 to go to hand to go to the bottom of deck. Calls two 12k attackers and isn't calling anything else. Just so no root flare shenanigans happen. $36k for a 2-pass. And it pays off, no triggers at all. $9k to the rear guard. Does not gain the extra 3,000 because it has to attack a Vanguard to get that. And 2 draw triggers to guard those 2 attacks. Dragonic Blade Master has to stride again to have access to Generation Break 2, but he did get Cruel Dragon in the last check, so he definitely has the ability to do it. Goes into another Muhammad. Counterblast 1 for Blade Master to kill that unit. If I was Sky, I'd use that Etna key. Get 2 Counterblast back. Call a rear. And my first attack would be with the rear guard. My first attack would be with the rear guard in this situation. To kill the final unit, and that's what he's doing. Counterblast 1, kill the final unit, no interceptors. So now this is a 20k attack. Muhammad's gonna attack for 31k. And Pidove does not trust it enough to let that happen. 2 perfect guards in the triple check. Really good for Sky. Also, everyone do keep in mind that a perfect guard was soul blasted, so he does get the unflip. Rides into another Susanoo so that he can use Lemonade to Soul Blast 2 and Unflip 2, giving him the ability to use both Susanoo and Takamikazuchi this turn. Susanoo first gets 1 to hand. Lemonade behind Vanguard to Soul Blast 2 and Unflip 2. And now Takamikazuchi to counterblast 2, flip the final Takamikazuchi in his stride zone, and check his top 4 to go to hand to go to bottom of deck. Pidove is actually stacking a lot of cards to the bottom of the deck thanks to stride. Not unlike a Tsukuyomi style. It makes me wonder if he's actually being strategic about what he's putting back there, or if he's just getting what he needs into his hand and worrying about that above all else. So Sky has 2 perfect guards. Really good because he's looking at Takamikazuchi and Silent Tom at the same time. So now Sky has to think how he wants to guard this, because he really should guard this. He cannot, I repeat, cannot afford to no guard this. Perfect guard drops a Gatling Claw, and there's a crit. Like I said, 12 critical. I saw 2 different types of criticals, and neither was Psychic Bird, so I knew this was 12 crit. Sky is getting the good fortune that this guy isn't getting a lot of criticals per turn. You can't use zeros for this attack, and it does have 2 critical. So another perfect guard dropping a heal trigger. And 16 at the rear. And he blocks it, decides it's worth guarding. So by my count, that means there are 3 heal triggers out of the deck. And now we see Root Flare. And we can see a lot of retiring this turn. Counterblast 1 to kill Tom. Actually, I would Counterblast 1 to kill the 12k attacker. Then I would use Root Flare skill to kill the Tom column. Because he does have more Tom. He did Counterblast. He actually did Counterblast. Yes, guy, the Dragon Mungenjo wasn't flipped at first, so you did Counterblast. And now he's putting a power field. He can actually Root Flare, then Sadic, and kill 3 units, and get 15k power onto this side. Like, he should Sadic as well. This is the time where that would be good. I hope he does know that they gain 5k per retire, so these just gain 10k. He only gave them 5. Please give them more power. Sky, please. Sky, please. Please. Oh my god. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. They gain 5k per retire. This column isn't 24, it's actually 34. I mean, not 34. Actually, yeah, 34. Please someone tell Sky that his units have more power. As a matter of fact, this should be 21. Sky, please. Uh, this should be 23. This should be 21. That should be a 44k attack. Root Flare kills 2 units. Each one counts separately. So many things I don't like about that turn just now. So many things I don't like about that turn. Why, Sky Limits? Why? Why you do this? Pidove is being given a chance he really should not be given. Come to think of it, the fact that Pidove hasn't been getting a lot of critical triggers might be because he's putting them at the bottom of the deck, saving them for later. If that's the case, he could be putting Sky in an unwinnable situation if this match lasts long enough for it to come to that. Speaking of which, Blizza appears, and Sky has to block this. And he can't block this. Heal trigger. Grade 3. And the crit. Unfortunately, I kind of assumed that a crit would happen at that point. And it's game. Pidove takes it. Good games. Sky. That power. That power was not correct.